Mark Jackson joins us now. How tough was yesterday, Mark?
It was a great day. Thanks for having me. And as crazy as it sounds, this is a grown man business, and things work out the way they're supposed to work out. So it was a tough day, but it was a great day. It brought closure to an incredible 3-year run that I'm proud of, and I'm just fortunate to have the platform, and now we move forward.
Well, we heard Golden State side of this, that they wanted to move in a different direction. Did you want to move in a different direction as well, away from Golden State?
Quite honestly, I had a lot invested. I talked about it in my meeting. The unfortunate thing is the pregnancy happened. The baby was, carried for 9 months or for 3 years. And now you watch the labor pains and be in the hospital, and somebody else is going to sit there and be able to grab the head of the baby when it's born. I think I went through all of that, and now the process is that this is a championship caliber team. Unfortunately, last year with David Lee out in the playoffs, we advanced. This year with Andrew Bogut out in the playoffs, it was a tougher hill to climb, especially going against Jordan and Blake. But at the end of the day, I got a lot invested in those guys. I love my players. I'm extremely close to those guys. They played their hearts out for me, and that's the toughest part about it, is because you build incredible relationships. But the important thing is that don't just last on the court. I'll be friends and mentors to all of those guys for a long time to come.
Clear something up for me. Is this just a personality conflict between you and the front office?
I don't believe that. I understand everything that they're saying. At the end of the day, I'm a guy that believes that you stay in your lane. I'm respectful to everybody. The great thing about it is I'm not just a guy calling into your show. You know who I am. You've been around me. You watch how I handle people and how I am. It doesn't match a lot of the things that's being said, and that's not fair
I don't
to
know.
me.
How could you get fired, Mark? That you had 51 wins. You go back-to-back playoff seasons here. Those coaches don't get fired.
Yeah, well, they do. Quite honestly, I stay in my lane. And what I mean by that is I have a boss. Excuse me, I have a boss. I talk to my boss and I deal with my boss, and it's new to me, so I don't know how to dance with the business folks. Excuse me, I don't know how to dance with the other lane because there's so much transparency in that organization, and they do a very good job. But I was of the mindset that basketball was basketball, and anybody that want to talk basketball or deal with that, I had a relationship with.
But did you not play the game? Did you not play the game?
Well, when you say play the game, I now don't know how to answer that because the game is different. The game there is I was respectful to everybody. I played the game. I stood in front of podiums. I handled myself in a way that an organization would be proud. Play the game. The question is whose game? Because
front office.
Well, my front office, yes. My management, my boss, the basketball operations. I did not play the game. The other side, the business side.
Yeah.
And when I say that, understand that doesn't mean that I didn't do anything. That means that I didn't go into the other side people's office and try to get out my lane and be running reckless all around a building, which I thought wouldn't be respectful and the right way to handle it. I had a boss to deal with, and I believed in truly dealing with that boss out of respect for that boss. But at the end of the day, it works out. And I think how you conduct yourself, how you handle yourself speaks volumes and goes against anything that could possibly be said. If the worst thing that could be said about me was I didn't, the business side, anything that I didn't get hired for that. And it's unfortunate and not fair to me.
I'll let you get a drink there. Mark Jackson joining us, the former Warriors head coach. Coming up, we'll talk to Seth Rogen. Richard Sherman of the Seahawks will stop by as well. Where are you going to – have you been contacted by the Knicks?
Say that again?
Have you been contacted by the Knicks?
No.
Do you expect to be?
I don't know what I expect. I look forward to the next chapter and the next assignment. I'm a guy that fully trusts God and know that it all will work out. And I think the difference now, as opposed to 3 years ago, is I've proven that I can coach. I'm not a guy that's begging for an opportunity to show that I can coach. And I thank God for the opportunity that I was given in Golden State. It was an incredible 3 years. We accomplished a lot, and now we move forward. So I'll just wait and see what lies ahead for me.
All right, clear up some other things if you can. How was being a pastor and not relocating to San Francisco? You wanted to keep your family in the Los Angeles area. Your church, obviously, very important to you. That play a role in any of this?
Well, it may have for them all of a sudden. It did not play a role from day one. The job description was clear. I fulfilled that. I would make the case that if I lived in the Bay Area, I would be at the office, no question, less than I was as the head coach. And at the end of the day, Dan, here's the fact: I live here. So what do you want? I'm in the Bay every day. So the deception is that I don't live here. My wife and kids are in L.A. My daughter goes to University of San Francisco, but I'm here. And I would tell you that on a regular day, I'm the first one, or one of the first ones in the office, and I'm certainly with some guys on my staff and my video guys, the last ones to leave. I'm there till 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, hanging around, watching games, going over stuff. That wouldn't be the case if I lived there. I'd be home playing with my kids and hugging my wife and loving on my family. So if you want to look for an excuse, you can find an excuse. I'm pulling for the next person because that's a championship caliber team. And that's a team that's prepared and ready. And somebody will inherit some incredible players and some incredible individuals. And it'll be entertaining to see what their next step is, because 51 is not enough.
Nope.
And having a real chance is not enough. Now they got to do it. So
what if you beat the Clippers? If you beat the Clippers, is there any way they would have fired you no matter what happened against Oklahoma City?
I believe that both sides, it was a tough, draining year. Too many sources. I go into a meeting to discuss the job opportunity, and before I come out, it's been tweeted that I'm in a meeting and that I'm being fired. That's not how you do business. And you worried about business relations?
Did management try to sabotage this, Mark?
Sabotage by, what do you mean by that?
Leaking stuff that, all of a sudden it was your religion. You wouldn't commit to the Bay Area. I mean, there's like 4 or 5 different reasons why you're fired. So I don't know. There were so many people who told me this was going to happen last week. Reggie Miller is on this week. It just felt like people were talking out of school, that you wouldn't let Jerry West into a practice, and friction between you and your assistant coaches. I knew a whole lot of information about what was going on there, and it was being tweeted.
I will say this. You did know a lot, but you also heard a lot of lies. Jerry West wasn't banned from practice.
But that's what I'm saying. There was stuff that was almost propaganda. It felt like that was setting you up, that this is why we couldn't keep this guy.
Well,
do you feel that way?
This is big business, and there certainly was a lot of stuff that was told and lied about and leaked, and some of it wind up ultimately being true, as far as my job being at risk and friction and people believing that I didn't have relationships and all of that. So obviously they got to do a better job of. The problem is everybody wants the glory, and I guess I'm a different guy, because to me everything was credit to the organization, credit to management, credit to my players, credit to the fans. When you're looking for the finger to be pointed at you, sometimes it's frustrating when other folks get credit.
But it feels like you're holding back with it. And look, I respect that. If you're trying to be fair to part ways, it's over. But Mark, I can hear it in your voice. It just
I'll tell you, there's a way to do things, and And when people lie against you and people make up stories, at the end of the day, the evidence against it will be how you conduct yourself. The evidence against it will be how you talk to people, how you treat people. What's the success or how you handle adversity. I'm going to walk and take the high road. This has been an incredible experience. This is a team and organization and an ownership group that, when nobody else was willing to pull the trigger, gave me a platform.
Yep.
I'm not going to play the game and be disrespectful. I thank them for the opportunity. I had some incredible relationships that I'll have now for the rest of my life, and I'm extremely blessed. I'm at peace, and I'll tell you the truth. If we advance, do I still have a job? I'm not really sure, because at the end of the day, we both walked into the meeting, and we both were frustrated. That's the crazy thing is. Nothing was leaked on my side because I felt the same way, and I had issues. I'm not sure if the best thing for me going into that office, my mind was made up whether I was going or staying. So it wasn't a one-way decision.
Were you going to resign?
Like I said, it was a taxing, draining season, and obviously people was well aware of it. My players was aware of it.
But you went in there. You said your mind was made up. You would have resigned.
Things had to change, because what happened with my two assistants was created in a place where you want transparency. You want everybody to talk to everybody. That's not how you. In my opinion, that's not what happens. Is in this business, you got assistants or people that all of a sudden see. Well, if I say we should have did this, and if I say we should have did that, all of a sudden I might move up the charts. So you get people. You create an environment where people begin to, just give a little bit of gray area, and who knows. And that's not fair to anybody, and it's unfortunate, but there's a reason that what happened with my two guys happened. That's just a fact.
I'll talk to you soon. I appreciate you coming on.
I certainly appreciate the platform, man, and ultimately things work out. So thank you again.
Thank you, Mark. It's Mark Jackson, former Golden State head coach.